In this image, I want to introduce you to something called virtual copies. And basically, a virtual copy allows you to create almost like a duplicate of your original raw file, and make changes to that duplicate without affecting the original information. It's fantastic for experimenting on your images, trying new things, as well as creating derivative looks from the same image. So basically what I want to do before I start editing, and you don't have to do this to each and every image, just do it if you want to experiment and you want to try different things with a single image. Remember, everything in Lightroom is non-destructive, so you can always go back to the original information and start from scratch if necessary. So basically what I'm going to do is I have a photo selected. I'm going to go under Photo, Create Virtual Copy. Make note of the shortcut. It's a command on the Mac or Control, and it's like a little single tick mark right next to your return key on your keyboard. Create a virtual copy here, and notice I have two images here. So here I have this one, and you can see by the file name here, it's Trish270. Here it's Trish270, happens to be copy 3. That means there's another version of this floating around somewhere, probably not in this collection, but basically all it's saying is make a copy of that original information. You're not duplicating the original raw file, so it doesn't really add much overhead file size wise, but you're actually able to create a derivative or a duplicate from the original information. Now I can go in and do my thing with, editing this image, cropping, setting the white balance, all that good stuff. And so I'm just going to go in here and do a quickie little dealio here. Bring that down a little bit maybe. Okay. Bam. Click on auto, see where that takes me. Open this up a bit. Now if I want to remove some of this detail in the background here, as we talked about with our texture slider, or as we will with our texture slider here, the medium frequency stuff is removed. This would be low frequency. Okay, very minimal detail in between. Okay, higher frequency is the fine, stuff right through eyelashes and so on. Slightly higher contrast, and the medium stuff is like skin tones and whatnot. Okay, so if I wanted to remove that, I would maybe move my white slider down. Oh, wrong way. White slider up. And then I can bring my exposure down a little bit if it's getting too far, or with the shadows and so on. Okay, might be a little too saturated. Lower that. Good. Okay, so, again, if we wanted to do a global, and I'll go ahead and do a global texture thing, again, overdoing it pushes everything. Look how it softens the hair and everything like that. All that medium frequency information gets pushed. Okay, so I'm going to bring that down a little bit. It's affecting everything. If we wanted to, we can go ahead and do it locally. Let's go ahead and reset that. Put that back to 0. We'll do a quickie local. Okay, the idea here is, again, just creating a virtual copy. Here with the adjustment brush, notice I have a texture slider, and if I make the brush bigger, again, notice that it's very bright. It's affecting everything because this effect happens to be preset to a 4 stop exposure increase. And so obviously we don't want it to apply like that unless that's the effect you're going for. I'm going to bring that back down. And again, if I zoom in here, okay, let's go to 2 to 1 on that one so I can see. And around. Again, this is kind of a refresher on the texture, but really talking about virtual copies. So again, lowering the texture here. Again, play with it to see what the desired look is and how much of a texture removal you need. Maybe clarity might be warranted. Remember, clarity kind of does more of the high frequency information. Okay, so you want to use that judiciously. And of course, it's affecting everything, at least what's being painted here. So again, switch to our erase or hold down the Option key or Alt key on the PC, and basically we're going to remove that effect. Now, if you can't tell what you're working on, you can always turn Show Selected Mask Overlay on. And all I'm doing here is I'm removing that texture. It's actually the negative texture effect that was helping soften things. You know, on the nostrils here, anything that has detail, you know, again, switching to one of our preset brushes. The left bracket key makes the brush smaller, the right bracket key makes the brush bigger. So you can kind of toggle between, you know, change brush sizes by using the left and right bracket keys. Again, I'm going to go ahead and remove. You know, you don't want the teeth to be all soft. Okay. Again, make the brush bigger with the left bracket or right bracket key. Left bracket makes it smaller. All right. Teeth are much whiter now, but that's just an illusion. Click on that, then back. And let's do the before and after split. Okay, I'm going to get out of my adjustment brush here. Okay, just so I can zoom in and out. And too dizzy. Bam. One more. Zoom in. Cool. So notice the difference. We have that medium frequency information gone. It's been softened out. Some of the higher frequency stuff like this is still intact. And it definitely looks better. Even on the hair, you know, since we've only applied the effect here, the hair stays crisp. So, and that's kind of what you're looking for. If you want to do a split here, again, you can see a little bit of skin detail, pores, and here we kind of soften that up a bit. We brought the texture of the teeth back, so that's not an issue. You know, again, the neck and everything here is being softened. And again, hitting the Y key brings us out of it. So here, fit on screen, see where we're at, and then you know, make adjustments from here. So if we needed to, we want to kind of take it one more step. We can do a virtual copy of a virtual copy. How handy is that? Under Photo, again, create virtual copy. It's making a virtual copy of that virtual copy. So all the settings we had previously from that first virtual copy, say that 10 times fast, will be retained in this second virtual copy. And so here we can play around with whatever we want it to. Okay, we want to warm it up, we want to make it cooler, make her blue with envy. That's green with envy, sorry. And so on. Okay, so you can really play around with this. Again, using virtual copies is a great way to experiment, try new things without committing to, you know, undoing things to start over. Okay, so definitely use those.